In honor of the 15th episode, welcome back to the Jabbermouths Award Show. Alright, and now, your coveted prize, presented by me, Barrett. It's the most non-consensual film goes to, drumroll, Deathstalker, winner of non-consensual film. Yay. We congratulate you as Jabbermouths and tell the filmmakers, please go to jail.
Welcome to Jabbermouths.
Yeah. Hi guys. In lieu of such an award, as the person who'll be editing this later, I'm giving everyone on this couch one special capital R word pass, which will
capital R word. What is that?
Oh yeah, it's gonna get bleeped anyway, so I'm gonna use mine now. Capital. You get one of those throughout, and I just used mine, but you guys get to use yours because there is so much of that in this movie that it became a little uncomfortable.
That's how I won that
on
consensual Jabbermouths award.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was very uncomfortable to joke about it eventually, because I did some jabs at the beginning when we first saw it happen in the first 10 minutes. But by 60 minutes into this movie, when there's a whole room where the entirety of the room is that happening, I wasn't ready for it.
So anyway, so it was last during Jack and Giant Slayer, I said, hey man, I really want to sit down and I want to watch Sword and Sorcery. That was the big, early 80s, push of, a lot of independent, low-budget films that tried to mirror the success of Conan the Barbarian. And some are actually alright. We watched Beastmaster.
Beastmaster was good. I enjoyed, well...
Good. You guys watched Beastmaster.
Yes, Barrett and I watched Beastmaster while you were at work. And it's good. The narrative stuff is there for the most part. The cinematography shot well. The big issue is...
the biggest issue with a lot of these is just assault. There's just a lot of...
Well, and this one just pumps unapologetically... Beastmaster pumps unapologetically the incest
Well, yeah, except at the end you find out, it's hey, the person you love is actually your cousin. Now, they're gonna roll with it? Okay, they're gonna roll with it.
Jamie and Cersei way before Jamie and Cersei.
But yeah, so basically Deathstalker is,
emphasis on the stalker.
It's trying to jump into that whole fantasy market, so that's the main character's name, and the whole thing is hey, you have to use the sword of justice and go defeat the evil sorcerer who happens to be holding a tournament. Defeat him and, destroy all the powerful artifacts. And then along the way, just lots of, alright, here's mine. Lots of that along the way. In fact, too much. In fact, I've watched a good chunk of Sword and Sorcery films, and this is absolutely hands down the worst. Oh my god, a lot of it's just hey, some of these scenes, wow, that's just porn. This is just porn.
Yeah, well, you get two or three consensual, quote-unquote, sex scenes.
I can only think of two, and that's when Deathstalker meets...
Kira, or whatever
her name is. Yeah. The friend who is on the journey with him, who fights with her tits out for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it's a
What is the point of her character, by the way?
She's just another companion who Deathstalker also consensually fucks.
She was I feel if anything, in a way, kind of more of a moral compass for her very brief time on...
Yeah, whichever direction the tits point is the way that Deathstalker
she's just running around.
It's true. She does she's one of the only ones who actually tries to do good things the entire time.
Yeah.
Save the princess, and she does...
Save people from being assaulted.
This is messed up, and I'm no, I want to see the tables turn. She should sexually assault one of the guards.
Uh-oh. Well, yeah, so actually...
Fair is fair.
I think about it, literally, the opening scene opens with a scene of, I'm gonna assault you, fight, move on to the next piece. And then when he's meeting his friend on the way to the tournament, I'm gonna assault you, fight, move on to the next scene. And then you get to the castle, and it's just non-stop.
Yeah.
Unending.
From the time they get to the castle to the end of the movie, it's probably every 2 or 3 minutes, I would say, before you see it again. And then see it again.
Jesus.
And then over and over and over. The only from the time you get to the castle, the only time it's consensual is with my boy Caesar. His name is not actually Caesar.
I don't even remember what his name is.
You have the wiki up in front of you.
Oh,
It's the second person, or first person.
Ogris.
I call him Caesar because he may as well be the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure equivalent of Caesar. For most of it. He turns out to be a Dio by the end. No one's going to get this. I don't know why I'm even explaining this.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Barrett gets me, and that's all that matters
to me.
Oh, I do,
but,
wow.
Okay.
Well, in terms of anime stuff, you don't care for anime.
No, not really. Well, I mean...
Name an anime show you'll watch that you like.
Oh, I haven't seen an anime show.
Oh, well,
Is Spirited Away an anime?
No. I mean...
I would count it. Studio Ghibli's anime, I think.
That's true, but I feel like there's a difference between actually
movies and
watching
shows.
like an anime series, be like, I love anime, versus watching a foreign film.
True.
Yeah, you do need to like get through any anime. I don't care how good it is. There are some like things that are specific to anime that you have to subscribe to.
Well,
I hate fan service. I'm
fan
tired.
service is so stupid, dude. There are so many shows.
Why
I
would she
wanna
have her
watch.
tits out of her armor? That doesn't make sense. It's inefficient.
Dude, there are so many shows that I want to watch that have, like, other people who we know have watched them and said, yeah, the story's really, really good. But they have just an egregious amount of, like, Food Wars. I want to watch Food Wars, but there's an egregious amount of fan service in Food Wars.
I watched the entire series of this, there's only 2 seasons, and that's good. Like, it, didn't outstay its welcome, was the show called K. And there was only one character who was purely fan service. Like, literally everything she did. Fan service. And that was it. It was just all on her. Everyone else in the world dressed normally, like, did normal things. It was just every scene she's in where she tried to be serious. I'm like, get out. Stop.
Well, yeah, that one or Fire Force. I watched like 2 episodes of Fire Force, and I was like, the story here's cool. The premise is dope. They're shooting fire and fighting fire demons. This is awesome. I don't know why we need this cat-themed girl her whole character arc is, I'm a clumsy person, and when I trip, my clothes fall off. That's her whole story.
God, that hurts my fucking head. I'm so tired.
I'm like, really? Like, we don't need to do that. Like, Great Pretender, they know what they're doing.
It's true.
They just have a great story
that
is in that medium.
Tatami Galaxy, or
Tatami
the film,
Galaxy,
The Night of Short Walk On Girl.
Or the Keep Your Hands Off
Izukin?
Yeah. Or even Love is War.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Right. If
Deathstalker.
anyone who hears this, you're getting gold right here for shit to watch.
Start writing it down. But anyway, let's talk.
Deathstalker.
I love how all the set pieces looked plaster.
Yeah, it's just paint.
They were so
or
bad.
plaster.
Yeah, they were
so
really bad.
Okay, so going back, I still don't understand the cave scene. So he goes into the cave. He has to get the Sword of Justice.
Yes,
What's the point of that?
Gremlin guy.
And the sword is like one of 3 super magical relics,
That
right? That let
Deathstalker
you
needs to.
Well, it's
they let you
fight the
rule
sorcerer.
everything.
Okay, so-
Well, the sorcerer already has 2, and the
So-
sorcerer wants all 3 so he can rule everything, right?
But, okay, here's a question. One of the magical things is a sword.
One's a sword.
One of them is an amulet.
Yeah.
Logically, not in the film. Logically, what is the next item?
I mean, something else you would probably wear, like a
necklace?
like a necklace or a crown, or
What
because the
amulet you
amulet's
wear.
already a
Oh,
necklace.
that's true, yeah.
So I'd say
So
a
like
crown
a
or a
crown,
ring.
like a crown or a ring, or hell, even like bracers or some shit like that, right?
Nah, it's a fucking chalice.
It's a chalice.
Well, maybe that's like a reference to like
The Holy Grail?
yeah, the Holy Grail.
It's a really shitty reference.
I'm not saying it's good. The walls are painted in every scene.
See, that's the thing. We
The
scoff at
tits are out the whole time!
Right? You're not paying attention to that shit.
No,
You scoff
actually,
at the Grail, but then you watch him run around with the green Mountain Dew, and he's shooting like some cool
Yeah.
stuff out of it. So
Yeah, the chalice is the only
scoff
one
at
that actually
the
really like
Grail.
emanates anything. The only one that does
The
anything
sword
is
just fucking
the
burns
sword
his
glows
hand.
and burns his hand.
Well, and then it's like, don't give in to the illusion! And he looks at his hand again, and it's not burned at all.
And that's it. And then the amulet did he loan it to another guard, or was that secretly him the whole time? A guard shows up at the
secretly him
mouth
the
of the
whole time.
cave. Yeah, a guard shows up at the cave or shows up at the witch's house, who is a friend of Deathstalker's, to try to get the sword. Doesn't succeed.
There's an R word scene in front of that.
Yes, there is. You still have your R word pass
No,
for
I know.
whenever you want to use that.
I kind of want to not use my R word pass.
That's you're a good person.
You're getting bleeped. No one's even gonna know you said it, right?
But we keep
If you
indicating that we're saying it.
No, I'm not going to scream it.
If you don't use it, I'm just gonna find a spot in the podcast and bleep you saying something and pretend that you did it. You shouldn't say words like that out loud, Ethan.
No, now we're gonna keep that.
That's not. Look, at least we said it contextually. You didn't need to just like blurt
I
the
just
word out.
screamed it.
Yeah, I can't believe you did that. Anyway.
But yeah,
I
there was
like
just
non-consensual bananas.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? Moonkar, right? That's the bad guy's name.
Yeah, Monkar.
Moonkar. That just makes me think of Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
See, that just makes me think of Monk, like all the monkey jokes.
Monk.
Monkar.
Okay, wait, time out. Because I know Barrett and I have talked about this. Have you seen the trailer for the new Godzilla vs. Kong thing yet? See, like, pictures and stuff for it?
I think so.
Are you on Godzilla camp or are you on monkey camp?
Monkey
Because
King.
I'm monk. I'm big monk.
I don't know.
Because that's
I don't remember the trailer well
Here's
enough.
why. Because that's the fun side. Because literally
Everyone
everyone else.
on Godzilla's side is
They
always
just
like,
push it
well,
like,
if you
here's
think
nuclear,
analytically,
it's
nuclear,
laser beam.
and he can shoot the thing, and then he just gets more nuclear.
Exactly.
And then on the
That's
other
so
side, it
boring.
just goes,
Big monk.
Big
Apes strong together.
And it's true. Like I saw that. I saw a video like that where someone details all of why Godzilla's better, and then the other person in the Kong camp just shows the clip of fucking Kong jumping with that giant stick at Godzilla and deflecting the gamma ray blast with it. And I'm like, there you go. That's all you need to know. But yeah, I am on Kong's side because, like Bert's saying, Kong is just a funner camp to be in.
Yeah, it's just more fun. It's just, give into the meme, be stupid with it.
Yeah.
Plus, like, New Godzilla is kind of boring to me. I'm not gonna lie. I like that old. Give me that old ass, clearly a rubber costume Godzilla fighting in a tiny Tokyo.
You mean like the friggin' cave dude who turns into a human, or who turns Deathstalker into a boy, and then
To make him human?
as soon as they get out the cave, just think. It just cuts in there.
Because he needed a boy to lead. So it says that.
That's a
so the
weird
prophecy,
thing.
they say so.
I need a man who is not a man, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when Deathstalker goes to get the sword, he goes to this.
Goes in the cave.
This cave to this little budget Yoda looking motherfucker.
And there's a giant in there too.
Who's just hanging out.
Just
doesn't
chilling.
do anything.
Like he kind of pushes him, and then
he attacks, and then
Deathstalker just literally flicks his hammer and it breaks.
Yeah.
And Deathstalker just goes, "Go away," and he's like, "Okay."
And the giant's like.
And then the gremlin guys,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the gremlin's just like, I've been in here for 30 years. Here, take me out of this cave. And so the prophecy is only can be led by a man who isn't a man. So he turns Deathstalker into a little boy, and the little boy takes the gremlin's hand, and they walk out of the cave. And then Deathstalker is a sex offender again. Yeah. And then the guy and the little gremlin jumps to a lake and emerges as some guy.
Oh, I don't even remember his name.
Yeah, he falls into the lake.
He's blind and he just walks into the lake.
Oh yeah, he was blind the whole time.
Yeah, then he walks into the lake and goes, "Oh!"
He's actually, I think he's one of the only other sources of consensual intercourse.
Yeah, it's true.
Because he has an orgy, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
Who's the knockoff Saruman?
Oh,
no, that's his name.
Salomon.
That's his name.
Salmoron
or something like that.
Salmoron, yeah.
Salmoron?
Yeah.
See,
he's salmon now.
See,
That's all he is in my
I think
book.
Salmoron is literally just like the accountant cousin of Saruman.
Yeah.
Saruman, get out of your tower.
What? He's not home.
He's not home. That's me. I'm Salmoron.
I'm making some tuna sandwiches if you'd like some.
Would you? I have extra. I always have extra tuna. We use best foods mayo in here because we are a good household. They're not sponsoring.
Well, I don't
us.
like the don't let the urukai in. They're so dirty. They're so dirty.
The lake's over there. Make them bay. The stereotypical. We have a Jew on our couch. It's okay.
Wow. Wow.
I'm kidding. But also now you may make any Hispanic joke you'd like.
No, I'm not going to.
I'm giving you my permission for future reference.
Joke's on y'all, I slam dunk on myself.
What? I'll do it.
No.
I'll vouch for you.
I'll start.
I don't know. I feel like there's...
Jesus, Ethan.
You used up the pass. You can't do that. I gave you one rule. Anyway, what I was going to say was a small tangent. I feel like racially charged jokes in good fun around people that you respect and love, I think aren't a big deal. That's all I was going to say. It's when they're hate-driven that they're bad, in my opinion. Like, if somebody told me a Mexican joke and it was funny as hell, I'm going to laugh. If it doesn't come from a place of hate.
How many Mexicans does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
One.
See, that's good. That's good.
Such a shitty joke,
though. Why were there...
How many Deathstalkers?
Why were there 120 Mexicans going across the border?
Why?
Because they could only afford to bring 2 cars.
Jesus.
But let me ask you
It's
this.
one of my favorites. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Grandpa. But that shit's funny.
How many Deathstalkers asked for consent?
0.
Not enough.
Well,
true.
there was consensual sex with him.
He bangs.
That's true.
He
Kira.
bangs the Kira, and
Is
then
it actually Kira?
I don't know, dude. It doesn't matter.
Kaira.
Kyra?
Kyra? I think it's Kyra.
You're close.
You're Kaiba now. You're just Kaiba from the hit show Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's me, Yugi.
It's me, Yugi Tits Out.
I had sex with Deathstalker, so I'm going to win the duel.
You've activated my trap card. Tits Out.
Oh, I thought Dick Out, but okay, whatever.
Yugi, what are you gonna do?
I must believe in the heart of the cards.
I don't. You turn that off. I don't want you kids watching 4Kids Entertainment anymore. I don't like this.
So there's the
continue.
longest softcore consensual porn scene in this movie.
Yeah, sucking the titties and everything.
Yeah, it comes
Really,
when basically like 4 minutes after
he's
Stalker
met her?
and
Yeah.
Kyra or whatever her name is.
Kaiba.
And then you get Salmaron
And
who's
Caesar.
and Caesar, who are just kind of watching, and you see Salmaron go, yes.
Because they're all sleeping. They're all within like a 5-foot radius of each other around this fire.
And she's like loud. She
is, yeah.
So if I was Caesar, I'd be pissed because I'm just sitting here like, I'm trying to nap. Come on.
Caesar doesn't hesitate though. He just watches. He watches like a fucking schoolgirl. Like he's on his stomach with his hand like this, and he's like, that's nice.
That's a nice missionary. I'm glad I got to be part of this.
Great form.
I think that's the only.
And Salmaron's just like.
He was really excited.
Salmaron's just yakking it. If you were 30 years in a cave and you see sex for the first time, it's pretty hard not to yak it. You've been a blind goblin for the last 30 years.
Well,
also, what did he do to like get that fucking shitty job?
He tried to look for the sword. I think is what I remember. He was a warrior who tried to look for the sword. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that like
he
the
was
witch just like
handsome
made
and
him the
dashing,
keeper.
and then Deathstalker just goes handsome and dashing, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, he still got technically laid more than
there
anybody
was the
else in
orgy
the movie.
Scene,
because he falls into
implied
the
orgy.
right at the castle. He falls through like a hole into the concubine room,
Yeah.
and all the
Concubine
concubines just love him.
Well, we get like one shot of them like giggling and smiling at him,
And then
it
it's just
cuts
assumed,
away
because
and
he's
it's
not
assumed.
as pretty as the other one, so it's just assumed that he gets laid.
Anyway,
Which is shitty. That's shitty on you.
So Deathstalker makes his way to the tournament with his party of friends,
Which
to say like, hey, I need to kill Monkar with the Sword of Justice.
Oh, this is an important thing to mention because it'll come up later. The reason why he's doing this in the first place is some random king who used to be in charge of that kingdom found him and tasks him with going on this adventure.
Now.
Yeah, and even Deathstalker doesn't hesitate to be like, you have to actually have a place to be a king of in order to be a king. And he's like, I will be a king again.
So you know when you watch porn.
Yeah.
Okay, go with me here. There's at least like a minute of quote unquote plot.
I don't know about you. I just get to business. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Yes,
no,
you're
but
right.
like there's a minute of quote unquote plot before you get to porn scene. No, this movie, the first scene is literally we're gonna R-word this girl.
See,
but we're gonna this girl.
Stop it! Stop saying it!
see what I think
Making
is
my job
interesting
difficult.
is just getting to it's just like she's like, all right, a night of consensual sex. Anyway, next thing we've made to the tournament. Everyone, quickly to the castle. Like seriously,
You said it again too.
Yeah, bleep it again. That's the official title of his den now. Because literally they go into the whole thing. You have all these warriors sitting around. They're just chasing the women, throwing around the women. They're screaming. They don't want to be part of this. They don't want to be there.
I was gonna say that's the one exception is the two girls in the mud pit with the other guy.
Salcart pit, whatever the
Whatever
name.
it is.
Yeah.
That guy's cool. The dude who's in the mud pit with them.
Yeah, because then he weirdly
Well,
shows
no,
up.
but then he tries to the
You
girl.
keep saying the word.
Well, that was my one. That was my one time. That was the first time.
I don't know what you're talking about. You've said it 4 times
That's
by
the
my
first
count.
time I've said it.
I don't know. That's not what the podcast is going to reflect when I'm done editing.
Fuck off.
I love you too.
No, but like
he does.
they
I
bring.
guess
Oh,
he
right.
does.
He's
huh?
rescuing the princess. He's rescuing the king's princess.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude because they sick the fucking pig dude who looks like he's out of Star Wars on her.
But Deathstalker is trying to rescue the princess as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also kill Monkar.
Because it's the daughter of the king who he meets in the forest.
Yeah.
Right. Who? This is why I wanted to bring that up and come back to it. Who we never see again.
Yeah.
We never see him again. He
Actually, no, he comes back at the end. He actually fights the guards to help the concubines, but then all I can think is, but wait, the tournament's over. Deathstalker won. Aren't you supposed to be dead?
He does?
He does.
Yeah,
The
he's
king,
helping.
the old king
Oh,
from the
No,
beginning
the
of
king.
the
No,
movie.
the Mud Pit Man.
Oh, Mud
Mud
Pit
Pit
Man,
Man.
yeah.
Kicks
I
in
was
the door
talking
and he's
about the
like,
king
I'm
guy.
the good guy. I'm like, you haven't had a.
Well, no,
only had,
but-
like,
Well,
two
maybe
lines.
maybe he wasn't there to be in the tournament. Maybe he was just like a big strong man.
No,
who
I'm
was
just.
there.
I'm an enthusiast.
You keep saying it.
I can, that's why it's here. That's why.
It's out of my system. It's
Jesus.
out of my system. We're moving
I hope
on.
the cops aren't outside anymore.
We'd like to have a word.
I hope they do, because then I can be
Wait.
officer, please arrest these men. They keep using this word. I'm gonna have to bleep it later in this podcast.
But no. Because
Sorry, what?
he gets in the mud pit with the two girls, and
Yes.
they're like,
and they're
mud
having
wrestling.
fun, and they're actually having fun with them, like visibly having fun.
Yeah.
And you see them smile, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay, but then they stick the pig dude on the princess, who's chained
And
up against the rock.
And
right?
then Munkar's like, would anyone try to stop this?
And
And that's when Mudbad Man's like, I would.
well,
Oh,
no, doesn't, because Munkar goes like, who wants to be the first person to
Yeah, it's the pig
to,
man.
the pig man.
to banana this girl?
I thought they sick. I thought
well, they
sicked
all
the
go
big
like,
man on it.
me, and then the pig dude just stands up and goes, me. And walks over
And
there
then
and
somebody
starts
says,
to banana her.
Well, no,
And
no,
then,
no,
and then
no.
Munkar's like, who would stop this? Like,
no,
who would try to protect
Munkar
her?
never says anything.
Somebody else does. I think it was.
I think
Kyra?
it's Munkar. I'm pretty sure it's
Well, because
Munkar.
Kyra, like, Deathstalker is holding Kyra by the arm to
To
stop her.
from trying to do something,
then-
because Deathstalker,
Right.
for the first time, is actually being intelligent. He's like, yes, I would like to save her, but we need to make it to the
Right.
tournament so we can
But then-
kill everybody.
But then, Mud Pit dude goes, nah, I can't do this. I'm covered in mud. I have to protect whatever dignity is left of this girl. And he goes and fights
Yeah.
Dude.
Pig
He fights
Dude.
Pig Man.
He tries to fight Pig Dude, and so does
Well, because then everybody starts
Stumpy
fighting.
Mike. Is that what we named
Stump-
it?
Yeah, Stumpy Mike.
Stumpy Mike.
Yeah, because he had the stump like.
Yeah.
There's a guy with a stump who had a knife on top of the
Right.
stump because he lost his hand. So, but he's a skinny dude, so I'm just like, you're just Stumpy Mike.
But yeah, he then mud wrestling dude fights Pigman, which starts the riot, which then kills everybody except.
Well, not everybody, just a
Well,
bunch of people.
There's
die.
a bunch of people die. Stumpy Mike gets hung from the ceiling by his knife.
He lives though,
Yeah, but
because
he
he's in
lives,
the
yeah.
tournament later, and the mud guy survives. Too.
But then doesn't. Is it a different dude who then bananas the princess during that whole scene?
no one ever successfully.
Well, because
That, the
somebody
princess.
goes after her
She
again.
is never.
Somebody does. I don't think she's ever deflowered, if you will.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
That we know of.
I'm not high fiving. We should not be high fiving.
Well, transgender dude gets, quote unquote, maybe
Transgender dude.
Yeah.
yeah, because Munkar,
Oh,
he turns over his
oh,
Top Gun.
oh,
and he says,
right,
"Hey, I
right,
need
right.
you to kill Deathstalker. Go into his room." And then
And turns
Deathstalker's
him-
like, "All right, free game." And he throws her on the bed, and the guy's like, as the woman, like, "Dude, get off! No, I don't want this."
I assume insertion occurs, and then it goes, wait a second, this doesn't feel right.
Wait a minute!
No,
I
I
just
just
put
love-
my penis into your penis.
I just love that he doesn't like the feel. Like he has to deal with the while transformed into a girl, has to deal with being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And not 2 minutes later
learn.
tries to sexually
There's
assault
Kyra down the
Kyra.
And
And
they
then
fight.
stabs her,
Yeah.
or
And
like
then-
sideswipes her, basically.
Yeah,
And they
and
kill
then
each other.
Kyra kills him.
And then
then she
Kyra
dies.
kills or dies in
Deathstalker's arms.
tits out.
Tits out.
Tits
Yeah,
out.
the tits.
The tits
How'd
out.
she
Alright.
die? With great pain and death and tits out.
Just
I was
imagine
just like,
that.
how'd she die? As she lived. Tits
Tits
out.
Isn't that just what he said? Like, yeah, like you're at like a funeral, like for like like your grandmother or something. She's like, she died the way she lived. Tits out. What?
I don't know. My grandma, I love my grandma to death, but she's a crazy person. Like, I would love to have met.
She has spent years tits out,
Tits out?
or
I
covered
mean-
with like little finger things that just like come up.
I
around
mean,
the bottom and-
metaphorically speaking, I'd say so. Because she's, I mean, like, she fought for
Well, yeah,
all sorts of
But-
stuff. Like, she
but
took
Kira is
hoses
not
from
me-
police. She changed herself to fences. I'm just
Kira
saying,
is
my
not metaphorically tits out the whole time. She is literally tits out the whole
Not
time.
metaphoric.
That's why I'm saying my grandma embodies her in a metaphorical sense. I would love to meet my grandma, like, when she was super young, because I feel like she'd be a crazy person. And I'd love
No,
to, like,
you don't want to
hang
do that.
out
Then
with
you'll
her.
become your own grandpa. And you're
I'm not
stuck in a
gonna
time
bang
loop.
my grandmother. Why would you go there?
Sequel to Back to the Future, starring JD.
That was also weird. Why did that have to be a plot point of that movie? That was just a
That was
weird.
the plot point of the
Which
first
one?
fucking
That's what I'm
movie.
saying. I don't know why that had to be a plot point of Back to the Future. That's just a weird thing.
Marty, you didn't bang your own mom,
okay.
right?
No,
So,
Doc.
wait.
Doc, is that a bad thing? Yes,
Is
Marty.
Deathstalker the prehistoric in the same universe as Back to the Future, considering Banana is almost... Oh, happens at Deathstalker.
I'm bleeping all the time to
But,
say that too.
yeah, you can. I'll know what's right.
I'm sure
know
you
what
will.
I'm saying.
The listeners will know that you said the R times. It's all getting bleeped. Say it as many times as you want.
Are they in the same universe?
No, probably not.
Oh.
Why?
Because there's not a lot of capital
You can't
R
just
that
say-
in Back to the Future.
But there is literally the scene in the first Back to
That's
the
like saying
Future.
That's just
that's
one,
like saying
though. That's-
everything is a precursor of the Mongols because
Yeah.
fucking Genghis Khan got around.
Yeah.
It's not though. You have like a tiny little bit, sure, but like no.
Who says no?
Me.
I mean, you should. No means no.
No does
yes,
mean
yes,
no.
no means no. Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
There should,
no
be, there, should be
means
a,
no.
there should be a disclaimer at the end of these credits that just say, remember, no really does mean no.
Well,
Don't
really.
do
it was what, the 60s, 70s?
82.
Man. It was 82.
82.
When all of
Love,
these
not
came out.
peace. Oh no.
Okay, I guess I think we've officially beat the horse to death.
I'm gonna have to do.
Wait,
It's gonna
just
take
like,
me.
just like the guys have beat the women to death.
It's
in
gonna
this
take
movie?
me like an hour
Jesus,
just to go through this whole thing and find all of those and properly. Stop it.
Marty, get in the time travel car. We have to stop your mom from being.
Who does it, Doc? You.
Barrett's not even trying anymore.
Neither am I. Anyway.
I should be laughing about Back to the Future.
Wait,
so
'cause
bad.
don't you destroy the timeline if you see yourself in the past?
I mean, it's there's a bunch of theories, but it's like we'll never know until we can actually do it. Right, because that's the new thing. New question, because we're talking time travel. Because there's two theories of time travel, right? There's multiverse theory and there's singularity theory, right? Which one do you think?
Multiverse.
I think multiverse also, right?
I think there is.
So that means if you go back and see yourself, you're not actually destroying the timeline. You're creating a new one.
Well, but that does that mean that in. Well, because the idea is, right, like, if you see yourself in the past, if I go back to high school and see myself, that destroys current me because that choice has been changed.
No.
So I die, right?
No, and here's why.
Yeah.
On multiverse.
Are we now just in a multiverse where
Well,
I've
here's
seen
multiverse
myself
theory,
in the
right?
past?
So here's multiverse theory,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
your universe.
Yeah, I know what multiverse.
Right, but you
is.
go into the past. No matter what you do here, your universe still exists up there. So when you go back to the present, your universe is still your universe where all these things have happened.
True.
You're creating a branching timeline that then is different,
Well,
that
but
you are not a part of.
You don't go back to the same timeline.
You go back to your timeline. That's your universe, right? That's the
But-
idea behind multiverse theory.
I guess.
You don't go back to the universe you created, right? That's a singularity theory,
So is
right?
there,
That
is
you
there,
messing with all this stuff back here then rechanges all the stuff over here, and that's what you go back
is
to.
there a then universe in which Deathstalker does not all these girls?
Yes, there
Probably.
is.
Yeah, it's like Dragon Ball.
It's
theory,
called Beastmaster.
right? Because the way
Well,
I
that's
know-
just the incest change.
Yeah, but would you rather have incest over?
I want to
Yes.
go to. I want to
Yes,
go to
I would
bed.
rather
I wanna
have
go to
I
bed.
would rather
Consensual
consensual
incest.
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 10 out of 10 times.
Yes.
Because I loved Jamie Lannister until that last season. That made me so sad.
He
my
especially
beautiful
loved it for
boy.
the incest.
Shut up! No, but it's like the way Dragon Ball Z does it, right? This homie's over here
Oh,
in a
yeah,
messed up future, comes back here to help save this reality, but every time he goes to the future, it doesn't matter. He goes back to his reality future, right? The future's still fucked up in his future.
Well, we haven't talked about the end of Deathstalker yet. I just realized this.
I mean, we're getting to
It's
it.
so abrupt.
It's
Well,
an unbelievable.
well,
We all kept thinking, like, how is there only 15 minutes left in this movie? There's
Yeah.
so much that needs to be figured out still.
It's they left. They were like all the way to the. They were tying up like those big giant leather boots that are like laced all the way to the top.
Yep.
They lace up like 3/4 of the way, then they just walk out.
And then the movie ends. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, Deathstalker wins the tournament. Then that night, he has to kill his good friend Caesar because his good friend Caesar's like, "Hey, Moncard gave me
Right in front
promised
of-
me power."
Right
Yeah,
in
it
front
turned-
of Caesar's girlfriend.
Well, it
Yeah.
turned out he was a bad guy the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
But he had
Well,
respect for
do that.
Deathstalker.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's one of my favorite shots of the whole movie because he does get the sword of justice.
Yeah.
He gets the
I
sword
don't
of
even know if
justice.
it's called the Sword of
It was
Justice.
called the Sword of
Whatever.
Justice.
He gets the sword of whatever away from Deathstalker, and at a spot, like at a point where he could grab it without Deathstalker being able to stop him, and they just make eye contact and just smile at each other, and Caesar refuses to grab it, and it's just that moment of no, I respect you and you respect me, and if we're gonna do this, We're gonna do this on equal
Just
ground.
watching two oiled up muscular men grapple with each other, best part of the movie.
It was
Maybe
very-
they destroy a bed.
They destroyed a lot of things.
Yeah. Including his neck.
Yeah,
He does break his neck.
Caesar
at the
gets
end.
his neck snapped. With the girl he was like he
Yeah.
was sleeping with or
Yeah.
something like that, like in the room, like
His
watching
girlfriend.
them.
Who then becomes like falls on. I don't know.
I don't know.
The final like
I would love if
scene. I don't know.
See, I'm just imagining though. Just imagine like, I'm just thinking like my favorite neck breaking scene is obviously Gimli with the orc after the warg falls on him and
Yeah.
then the orc and then he breaks its neck. Just
And
imagine
another
that.
war.
No, just imagine though if like somebody else came over him like like a writer Rowan. Hey, I'm here to.
Oh!
Ooh!
Legolas walks over. What happened to the soldier? I don't know. He just died. He just,
one of the orcs hit him.
He just fell over. It doesn't look like he has any visible wounds, or he died. Legolas, quit talking about it and get him off me. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Hey, have you guys seen one of our favorite writers? Nope. No.
Somebody starts
That
screaming.
was Arrowmere.
He was my
Oh,
best
But then,
Urban.
friend. That's where his ends. He just gets his neck snapped. Oh, I can't.
But then, I guess the other thing is then Deathstalker then he kills his friend, and then that night goes out, fights Monkar, gets the amulet, meets him in the courtyard. Monkar's like, "Joke's on you! I still have the chalice of illusions."
Which lets him turn. Like he makes a bunch of copies of himself, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Except the one farthest away and the only one up on the pedestal is clearly
is
him.
Clearly the one you would go after.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
he
then-
does.
Yep.
And he kills him.
Well, no.
No, he pushes him. to the
Deathstalker
floor.
does not kill him.
He takes the items and originally.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
You
You're
forgot
right.
about that.
Okay,
guys
no,
forgot
you
about
go
this.
for it. Go for it.
So Deathstalker, I guess, like stabs him well enough that
Yeah.
he like
He's
can't do anything.
incapacitated.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"You have ruined everything." And it's like, "What? Everything have you ruined? We haven't."
And then
heard any
Deathstalker's
plans."
like, "I have to destroy these powerful artifacts," and I'm like, "We haven't really seen much of their power. They just seem more like
Yeah.
trinkets."
I also feel like, the amulet turned him into a crow at one point. That was about it. Turned Monkar into a crow so he
"Oh,
could
Monkar
escape.
and a crow." Yeah.
Monkar turned into a crow so he could escape. That's the only
then-
time that you've seen their power.
Right.
And it never talked about him having to destroy them. I was under the impression until he said that he was just going to keep them
Like,
for himself
safeguarded, yeah.
and become the new ruler or whatever,
Well,
right?
but so then Deathstalker incapacitates Monkey.
Monkar.
Monkey.
Mon Calamari.
And then he pushes him to the crowd, who
Yeah.
like up until this point have been like
Oh,
cheering him
right.
on the whole time.
Yeah,
It's like,
the
"Oh, wait a
crowd.
minute! I fucking hate this guy."
And
Yeah, I
they
hate him too. Let's
they
get him.
tie one side of arm and leg to one horse, one side
I love
of
that.
arm
To
and
the
leg
other.
to the other horse, and fucking rip him apart.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Blood
unexpected, but I
splatter.
liked it.
I wasn't ready for him to do that. And
Besides all the bananaing, this is the most violent thing that occurs in the movie.
oh yeah, by a wide
Yeah.
margin. There's multiple decapitations, but they're very
Budget.
bad.
Yeah.
Decapitate. They're
Budget
yeah.
friendly, I think.
They
is
also
a
have all
is
the
a good
belt
way to-
loop stabs. Where you always see they always stab right on like the side
Yeah.
of their hip.
Yes, there's a lot
I'm
of that as
dead.
well.
Well, even transgender guard dies that way,
Oh yeah, just like a
and very obviously too.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's egregious, but I don't think they cared, and that's
No.
another thing that Barrett and I have come, and I think Ethan now has come to kind of respect about these movies, is that they're super low budget and super bad, but they have a passion of their own, right?
Yeah.
Like,
True.
like they really care about what they're doing.
Because I feel like the problem, even there are still independent films that still try to mirror this today, but the problem is they look at the camera and wink like, huh, remember
We're
in
so
80s
bad."
movies were bad?
And it's like you don't get to stand above those. You're bad too, buddy.
Yeah.
You know. See, that's why I like.
That's why I
and
don't like those.
I guess this is us tooting our own horn here a little bit, but that silent samurai movie that made in college, I absolutely adore it, even though I produced it, because he was just so passionate about
I'm
it.
tooting my
you know?
own horn.
This is I'm praising about this. If he ever
No,
hears
we don't
this,
even know if we should say his name.
I do you want me to bleep it out
We should
in
probably
editing?
bleep it out.
I am praising a school colleague of ours because he is all about movies like this, and I at first I kind of not mocked him openly, but like in my head I was like, okay, buddy, you're the weirdo, but but you know I really appreciate his passion for those things. I really do, and now that I see them in that light, you know, I really enjoy it. So I hope he
So-
goes on to do more. I wonder what he's even doing now.
So for
information. This movie had a budget of $457,000,
Really?
Wow.
and its U.S. box office was almost $12 million.
Really?
Yep.
What? Good for you. I mean, I hope you put
We
that
really had to
disclaimer.
pack. We really had to pack all those theaters, because everybody loves.
So much bleeping. You said $450,000.
I don't know if that is.
Versus the.
I don't know if that
I'm
is
gonna adjust it
83
for-
money or.
I mean, so that can really explain
There's
how.
It was also filmed in Buenos Aires.
That can actually explain how.
I mean, I can see what they do. So if they had that budget today, assuming
assuming
that this is 1983 money,
Yeah.
their budget would have realistically been, by today's standards, $1.17 million, and their, profits, because they said it made about $12 million, right?
Yeah, just under $12 million. It made its money back, almost made its money back in its opening weekend.
Wow. Let's see. So that actually.
They would have made a $31 million. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, you're good.
A budget of $1 million, and they would have grossed $31 million.
Wow.
That's what we want for Doge.
Dude, if Dogecoin is ever worth...
Go buy Doge.
Everyone go buy Doge. Go buy it. It's cheap. It's like 7 cents. You want to get in on investing long term? Get you some Dogecoin. It's not very expensive, and, who knows, 10, 15 years from now, maybe it'll be a new Bitcoin. Dude, I would retire immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So here's an interesting thing is...
Zoom in, thank you.
I mean, now I'm actually realizing why...
no tits.
Can you stop looking at softcore porn over there?
It's so the actress that played Kira, whatever her name is.
Sure.
Yeah.
This movie launched her career as like a cult
Classic for these
cult
kinds
classic
of
for these, and she was in Barbarian Queen and Barbarian Queen 2: The Empress Strikes Back.
I'm intrigued. We'll put this on the list.
Empress Strikes Back.
Yep.
Oozing creativity.
But yeah, because I really like Beastmaster, but then I realized why maybe Beastmaster was a little better is because they had a budget of $9 million.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons Beastmaster was better. I think whoever the cinematographer of Beastmaster is deserves a lot of love.
There was a proposed third film in the Barbarian Queen.
What was the title?
Guess.
I want to say something with boobs.
No, I want to go with... What am I even thinking here?
Return of the Barbarian Queen.
I'll say Return of the Barbarian Queen.
Return of the She-King. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Return
of the She-King. Return of the Queen?
It's like Return of the...
She-King is what it says.
She-King is... So a queen.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
These are all quote-unquote foreign films. Well, I mean, they were all...
I mean, they're like spaghetti westerns. They were shot way the hell out of there, but they're not really.
But, this was filmed in Buenos Aires.
Right.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Well, is it Buenos or Buenos? I think it's Buenos Aires, not Buenos. Anyway, just because it was filmed outside of the country doesn't make it foreign.
Buenos. Was it an O?
No, gotcha. But you can film stuff in other countries and not
No,
have it
but,
be a foreign film, right? It's all about where it premieres, right?
Yeah.
Is what dictates that.
I don't know.
Because movies like Avengers, for instance, shoots in all sorts of countries,
the
right?
production company was Ares. I'm not even. It's very
Well, it would make sense that they would.
Argentinian.
Right, if they were shooting there, it makes sense they would use a production company there, right? I'm just saying,
Yeah.
where did it premiere? Because I think where it premieres is what dictates.
I mean, the U.S.
And I think that's what
But-
dictates it. I think.
guess.
I
Who
could be
knows?
wrong about that.
So that's an
But-
interesting question. Is if they filmed, I guess.
Like I said, spaghetti westerns are a good example.
Well, okay. So let's think about this. If Marvel movies are filmed in London, are they
But they premiered
U.S.
here.
films or are they domestic films or are they?
Well, see, that's my argument for them being quote unquote. I mean, it's not like it really matters that much, I suppose, on the grand scale of things. But why I would say it would be an American film is because it premiered here first, didn't? I don't actually know.
Well, because
Do
a
those
lot
movies
of
premiere in London
films
at the
will
same time,
premiere.
or in England or the
Because
UK.
a lot of
I
them
guess,
will
is the way to put it.
premiere before we get them in the U.S.
I don't think that.
Yeah, it's true.
Even with the big stuff like. Like the Marvel stuff premieres first in Europe.
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
That big
Because I don't think
summer
Endgame or
block
anything
off.
like that.
No,
though.
I don't think they would do that for that. But like
Because they knew that
some
it
films
would all leak and then less
Yeah.
people would see it over here.
Some films premiere quote unquote in London and in Europe.
The other reason that is like I know like the contract with Pokemon movies is to consider them Japanese movies they have to premiere, and that's part of their contracts, they have to premiere in Tokyo first before they're allowed to premiere anywhere else. So like when I saw
is Detective Pokemon or sorry,
Detective
you're talking.
Pikachu.
Yes,
Are you a parent? Are you like a dad?
I'm
sorry.
Hey, I'm
That
taking my
was,
kids to see Detective Pokemon.
Fuck off.
I don't know exactly what the situation was with that. I'm saying like the specific studio that did like the shows and stuff,
Gotcha.
and then makes the movies
Well,
after that.
where's that studio?
Its headquarters is in Tokyo.
Yeah, so then it's a foreign film, but like
Marvel, for
films.
instance, in 2019, I got to see a pre-screening of what was the newest Pokemon movie from that company.
Jesus, that was
But they had to
2019.
right?
Jesus.
But they couldn't call it a premiere. They had to call it even though like
pre-screening.
even though like 80,000 people saw it.
Yeah.
They had to call it a pre-screening and not a premiere because it's dictated that it has to be considered a Japanese movie, which means they have to premiere it in Japan.
So then
That was a cool experience, by the way. Side note. Anyway, sorry.
This is completely off topic, but is it?
But this last like 10 minutes have been, but you know, I think it's good podcast material.
Does the
It's kept away from me having to do more censorship work. I'll take it. Fuck.
does the
We've created a monster.
does the IP owner then dictate who?
You all right over here, Barrett?
I'm just bored. This is boring me. I'm so
I'm
bored.
interested.
Sorry.
I think these are interesting.
This is so
film things.
mind-bombing. Oh my god.
Then bitch,
I
ask
don't
a
care about
question.
distribution.
You probably should. We're in
Anyway,
this industry
I'm a
now.
peon right now.
We're all peons right
Doesn't
now. How do you
matter.
stop being a
Would
peon? You
stop
care
peeing
about
on us,
things.
Barrett?
Yeah,
No.
you're peeing on our parade over here.
You asked for it.
I
You
don't
paid
know.
me $50 to pee on you. That's
Hey,
part of the
hey,
contract.
hey. That was hush money, all right? You don't fucking
Wait,
tell
you
people
had to pay
about
him
that.
50
Hey,
bucks?
shut
I
up.
had to pay him 75. Jesus.
Well, I opened-
Another cool
I said I'd
125
open
in
my
the
mouth.
pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ew.
I didn't want to pay $75.
Ooh.
What? You just put the mouthwash in after that. It's fine.
Oh.
Fuck you too.
Are you into real scat girls?
No.
Also,
Also, pee and poop, very different things. Like,
Are you into
there is a
piss?
world. No, not at all. All I'm saying is, if
All
I
I'm
had to,
saying is...
all I'm saying is, if I had two friends come up, and one said, "I've tried a golden shower," and the other said, "I've tried being covered in shit," I'm gonna judge one a little bit more than I'm gonna judge the other. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? Here's a fun tangent. I remember as a teenager, and I remember immediately like clicking off of the video because I'm like, I don't want this. Because even as a teen, I was like, nah. So, you know, obviously as a teenager, it's like, hey, let's browse porn. I don't know what I'm interested in. I'm just horny all the time.
What did you see?
No, I came through this one, and so like it's just like a girl, like a naked girl, like, you know, like sitting in like, so it's like POV, so like the cameraman's talking, and like she's,
POV?
yeah, POV.
Pav.
Pav isn't very poggers, man. Sorry, continue.
Shut the fuck.
Hey,
No,
you
but,
called our tangent boring.
That's
Yeah.
true. This one's exciting. This one's fun.
I mean, we transitioned from a normal film conversation to fucking golden showers and being covered in shit. I'm not sure I like the
Anyway.
road.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Continue
That's
with
cool.
your Pav discussion.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
she's sitting there naked, like on her heads and knees, and of course he's saying weird things like, "Hey, you're gonna be a good little girl." She's like, "I'm trying." Okay, and then his friend walks through the door. His friend, and he just looks at his friend and he goes, "Hey, man!" And the friend's like real cool about it. He's like, "Oh, hey, check it out." And he's like, "Oh, yo, dude, I'm trying to teach my girl to be a piss whore, man. But yo, I'm totally out. Can you help out?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess I can help." And I just clicked off like, I don't need whatever this is. Don't need it.
You were
What
about to witness a golden shower,
well,
Barry.
what an interesting friend. Just doesn't even question. He's like,
Wait,
you got
wait.
it, boss.
Yo,
I got
bros are
pee."
bros for life, alright? That being said,
I
will never ask you to do something like that. Please don't expect me to.
Okay, if a golden shower is you peeing on your girl, is a golden waterfall multiple guys peeing on your girl?
You bring up some good points.
Do you call it a... Yeah, I guess.
I don't want to be
Golden falls,
associated
if you
as the
will.
golden waterfall, dude. Jesus.
You heard it here first.
Coined first by one Ethan Lawton. On that note, I think we can start winding this one down.
Wow, we spent
Tried in true fashion.
11 minutes on those two changes.
No, I know. Tried in true fashion. Rather watch this or Jack the Giant Slayer. I'm going to bed. Because I hate Jack the Giant Slayer, but I'm not willing to put myself through all of this sexual assault.
Way too
I'm
much
really
assault.
not.
It really just put a sour taste through the whole film. Like
it
was...
really did. And we talked about this right before we started recording. If you took out all of the sexual assault and the blood, and one other thing,
the plot.
No,
tits?
and the tits.
Yeah.
You take those three things out. This is a kids movie.
It's a kids movie.
This
Like
is
the way,
totally 100% a kids movie.
the way the
This is
character
He-Man.
moves, like swings around his sword, like that's appealing to kids. But as an adult, I'm just frustrated. Like that's stupid.
That's such a dumb movie.
feels
It's a
like
knockoff He-Man, and I'm cool with that. I would have enjoyed this movie more.
Okay, so if we made... Well, let's switch it then. If you made, like...
If we made it
So
that,
say this is R-rated. Let's just go, this is R-rated. I don't think it got a rating.
it got a PG rating.
Was this PG?
It was 82.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's call this Modern Day X, right?
Okay.
And Jack the Giant Slayer is PG or PG-13.
I think it's PG-13.
If you switch them, which would you be more interested in?
What do you
Just
mean by
rating
switching?
wise.
Like a modern
Like-
day
Like
this?
Jack
rated
and the
R?
Beanstalk with like tits and sex.
It doesn't-
scenes.
I don't want
let's
it to
not
be-
go.
I don't.
Tits.
I'm glad they didn't push that.
Well,
I would
yeah.
like some gruesomeness
hang on.
involving the Giants. I'd be down for that.
Or
Right,
just
like-
like a kid version of what we watched.
Yeah.
for
Which
this
would you
movie.
rather watch?
Kid
I think-
version
I think
of
that's-
Deathstalker.
Yeah, probably the kid version
Okay.
of Deathstalker.
Yeah.
But as it stands, as they actually are, I'm probably just going to bed. I'm thinking of
Yeah.
turning off my TV and I'm
And
going to
playing
bed.
Valve.
If I can recommend an alternate, Beastmaster.
Beastmaster's actually pretty good. Again,
Sweet Home Alabama.
shameless plug for the
Sweet
for the,
home Alabama.
yeah. So, I don't recommend this movie. Just based on
Do not watch this with
on the
kids.
stuff. Yeah, for the love of God.
Do not watch this if
but
you're
the
under
genre,
like
though.
21.
Also, just don't watch it with people you respect.
Yeah, the genre is worth exploring. This is not the movie
Sword
to do.
and sorcery. So
So-
yeah, obviously Conan. Both Conan movies, kick ass.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you should start with the Conan movies because that'll ruin all the like lower budget ones for you.
Yeah, watch the. So I'd say watch Beastmaster first, then kind of spiral from there. They're all on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Like, that's where-
Yes,
this is where we found this one, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
we haven't been doing that recently.
I have been.
Oh, have you?
I think. Whatever. Someone will probably. No, they won't. What am I saying? It doesn't matter.
Do not
It's
watch
been
this movie.
It's been an episode. This was episode 15.
Woo! And now presenting the award for most boring film. Who's it gonna go to? Black Hole or Jack the Giant Slayer?
We'll see you guys
Black
next
hole.
week. Yeah, it's Black Hole.
Black hole for boring.
Oh yeah,
Black hole.
totally Black Hole.
I don't know. I feel like for me, I was totally tuned out of Jack the Giant Slayer.
But at least Jack and the Giant Slayer was somewhat like.
I fell asleep for 10 minutes during the core or during the Black Hole. I didn't tell you guys because you didn't notice because you didn't care either.
Okay, so we're 15 episodes in.
Yeah.
What's the most boring film we've watched?
The Black Hole. That's my vote. Is the Black Hole.
Okay.
What's the most overrated? I think the core.
Overrated?
The core.
No.
Based
Well,
on
the
its
core-
budget and box office, I'm going with the core.
Well, what was the
And
budget
kind of
for
Robots
the core?
also.
What was the budget for the core?
Robots was also kind of overrated.
No, but that's a kids movie. We all watched. That was nostalgia. Overrated.
Yeah, but there are a million other kids movies that are way better. They came out around the same time.
True.
Okay. Well,
That's
so
why I say it's overrated.
What did we figure out Jack and the Beanstalk's budget was? Like $195 million.
Almost 200. Yeah.
What was the budget for the core?
For the core, I think it was like 165 maybe. Just gonna hear all that. Such a
115.
such a drawn out ending to this episode. So, this is what I have to say to that. There's a ton of CG that wasn't good
Yeah.
in the core.
I don't know.
You know, I think overrate.
Worst
Worst movie?
No, worst
Because it was this.
way. How do I phrase this? Jesus. Worst waste of money.
Like egregious spending of it for
Or
a
just
not
like-
good product. Probably
yeah.
Robots, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
They had a ton of money and an amazing star-studded cast. And I think when you put it up next to Jack the Giant Slayer, I think there's more coherence in Jack the Giant Slayer than there is in the Robots. Robots makes no fucking sense. Even by kids' movie standards, Robots makes no
don't
fucking
know.
sense. To me. And don't get me wrong, I loved that movie as a kid. But them glasses were real rose-colored, I found
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So, on that note, does anyone have anything else to add with this
Nope.
episode?
You or I never introduced ourselves, by the way.
I've
You
been
should
JD.
know us at this point. You
I
should.
mean, you never know. People might pick this up because I've noticed, when people join podcasts, they pick up at the newest episode and then
That's
they kind of
true.
backtrack, But I've been a goofus named JD, and you have been.
Not tits out, Ethan. I am wearing a
I
shirt.
wish he had them out. I'm staring at him.
I'm not gonna pull my shirt down.
Don't.
like
That's
that.
a nice shirt. Anyway, we will see y'all next week.
Bye.